The miracle is in the blow dry. Okay, when you're dealing with two different textures and you want hey guys, welcome back. What's up, subbies? What's going on, newbies, and everybody checking me out for the first time or maybe second? Come on in, let's talk. I just wanted to come in here really quickly. And being that I mentioned in my last video about, I was talking about trimming my hair and things that we can do while we're not going out and getting those professional services. Well, one of the things that I mentioned was talking about I was going to order my relaxer since I can't go out and get it. So I'm hoping that it comes on time, but if it doesn't, I was thinking, well, I may have to go 8 weeks instead of 7. And what if it comes even later because something else happens and this and that? So I'm like, I'm going to have to stretch my relaxer. So I figure I come in here and share some ideas, which basically aren't new ideas. I know you've seen other people talk about them, but I figure I would just talk aloud and we share, different ideas as far as stretching the relaxer and just making sure that we all stay calm during this situation and there's nothing really to fret. If you never stretched your relaxer before and you're always on schedule every 4 or 6 weeks or whatever your schedule is, I don't want you to get nervous. Things happen, even in the regular situations, normal situations, and this is really no different. So when you are trying to stretch your relaxer, or if you're in between relaxers, or you're dealing with two different textures, two key main things to keep in mind: moisture and low to no manipulation. Moisture, manipulation, the two M's, M and M. We want to focus in on M and M, okay? M for moisture and M for manipulation. So we want high moisture, low manipulation, okay? High moisture, low to no manipulation, okay? M and M, that's what we're focusing in on. I'm gonna give you some key points as far as what I think and or ways to maintain your hair and maintain that moisture that you need for your hair to really stretch your relaxers and come through on the upper end of this whole thing. What I like to do, what I used to do was, I used to pull my hair back in a ponytail and just carry on that way. And when I pulled my hair back in a ponytail, I would always make sure that the ends were protected. So I would pull it back and make it into a bun. Okay, so like a little cinnamon roll, that's how it would look in the back. And that way, again, I would protect my ends because they were tucked under and they wouldn't be exposed to, let's say, the elements, whether it was cold or hot or just rubbing up against clothes or whatever. So that's a good way. If you have hair long enough to put in a ponytail, I will put in a ponytail and then put it in a bun. Or even cornrows. I used to just, now I don't do the long cornrows, but I would do the 2 cornrows. I would just do 2 cornrows and then tuck the ends underneath each other. I would do stuff like that. So, but this time around, I'm not going to do that because I've worn ponytails for so long. Oh my gosh, when I first started my hair journey, that's what I did. I would do my hair, I would relax it, and then I would go about 4 to 5 weeks, whatever. And that particular time when I first started, I didn't have the right products, or I didn't settle into my holy grails yet. So the products weren't as moisturizing as the ones that I'm using now. And I was using a different flat iron. I mean, almost everything was different. So I was my hair was a lot drier at that time. So I would want to protect it. So I would put it back in a ponytail. I never worn ponytails for so long. Even this time around with losing my hair and growing it back, I wore a ponytail so that I would have low manipulation to it. Let me get into that. So yeah, I don't really I try not to do the ponytails right now, but if I have to, I will. But that's one go-to for me with the ponytails. But I also want to mention that low manipulation is key. Of course, you want to comb your hair. And when you comb your hair, you will have a little bit of breakage here and there. That just comes along with manipulating your hair, period. Whether you comb your hair with a comb or a brush, or if you drag your fingers through your hair and sort of go like this, and there's going to be a little bit of breakage. What you don't want is a whole sink full or counter full of breakage, and you will know the difference. You know the difference, okay? But we want to keep manipulation low when we're stretching our relaxers or in between relaxing time. And what I try to do is I'm hoping that you guys know how to comb your hair, okay? Do you know how to comb your hair? Now that may sound like a stupid question. You're like, of course I know how to comb my hair. How dare you? I'm asking that question because I went to a professional years ago, and he was combing my hair, and my head kept pulling this way. And so he was combing my hair, but not stopping, if there were tangles. So if there was a tangle, he would just force it through. And I'm thinking to myself, what is going on? And it got so bad that I had to say something. I said, can you not do that? And he said, oh, okay. Yeah. And he sort of corrected himself, but I knew I wasn't going to go back to him after that. I wasn't going to go back to him regardless. But definitely after that, I made a mental note. When we comb our hair, of course, we already know that when we detangle, we're supposed to detangle from the bottom up, correct? So you want to start at the bottom, especially when it's wet, and you want to comb up and comb up and comb up until it's tangle free. Then you can sort of comb through, okay? But even in everyday combing, and I've seen it, not just from, the stylist, but I do see when people just sort of, and they just comb through their hair. And I want to be sure that we're combing our hair the correct way, okay? You don't want to force your comb through your hair, okay? If you have a tangle or a knot or whatever, you don't want to just continue on because, of course, that will cause breakage, okay? So you sort of want to go in a staccato motion, okay? Whether you're detangling or not. Of course, detangling, it's from the bottom up. But when you're everyday combing, you want to comb through your hair. And if you feel a tangle or a tightness or some type of hiccup in the road as far as combing, you want to stop till you're able to comb through. And if you have to comb up from the bottom, again, just like detangling, then you do that. And then work your way through, work the comb through your hair. But don't force it. That is going to cause breakage, okay? And if you're in between relaxers and trying to stretch it, your hair I know for me, my hair is drier. It gets drier the longer that I wait to relax it again. So it may be the same for you. So regardless, you don't want to comb and force the comb through your hair, no matter what, okay? And you're dealing with two different textures. So you got all your little curly crinkles up here, and then you got your straightness down here, and then you have your ends, which could be dry because they are the ones that have been with you the longest, the part of your hair that has been with you the longest. So you really want to take care of your hair even while you are combing it. Just be mindful of what you're doing. Again, let's not undo all the progress that we have going for us during this time. We're trying to get our hair back to health. A lot of us back to health and length. So let's not undo that with poor combing, okay? Poor combing techniques, okay? And it's not a huge deal, but it is a big deal because everything adds up. We want to take care of our hair. So with that being said, now that we've covered combing, we want to make sure also that our hair is moisturized, okay? Now, I wrap my hair every night. So in wrapping my hair, it moisturizes itself. The natural oils from your scalp, it gets to your hair, and being that I wrap it, it gets to all of my strands and ends, and then the heat from your head helps to really seal everything in. So wrapping your hair, just continue to wrap your hair if that's what you do. If you do not wrap your hair, I would advise definitely, whether you're stretching or not, wearing a silk scarf or a silk bonnet, because again, we want to protect against the elements. And in this case, with the nighttime situation, the elements could be a cotton pillow or covers or rough sleeping. You don't want your hair to break off during your sleep. And you don't want your hair to be dry, period, because that lends to breakage as well, as we all know. So again, I wrap up my hair, okay, to keep my style as well as the moisture and the oils in my hair to keep it nice and luxurious and shiny. But again, if you do not, I would still advise wearing something on your hair to keep those oils on your ends, especially now that you're stretching your relaxer, and hair tends to be drier the longer you wait. At least that is true for me, definitely. I can already feel it. It's like almost like the new growth is zapping the moisture from, the relaxed hair. So that's another example of how we can stretch our relaxers. You may want to wash less, okay, depending on what's going on and what your regimen is. If you wash twice a week, if you wash your hair twice a week, maybe going to once a week. Again, we don't want it to dry out. We don't want you to over manipulate your hair and have more breakage, so forth and so on. So that may be something that you may want to look into. If you do it twice a week, once a week is definitely good, okay? So with that being said, you may want to change up that particular regimen, and you may want to use a more moisturizing, going back to the keeping your hair moisturized, a more moisturizing conditioner and or shampoo during this time. Some people have two sets of shampoos. I know that I do. There's a set of shampoos, which I've already covered in my previous one of my previous videos, that I just use just for when I relax my hair, because even after you relax your hair, it's stressed out. You put a chemical on it, it could be a little drier, a little less pliable at that time. So I tend to lean towards more moisturizing products during that time. So while you're stretching your relaxer, you may want to do the same thing. Use something that's a little more moisturizing as far as a shampoo and or conditioner. Now, if you don't already have that, I'm not asking you to go out and buy anything brand new and start with a whole set of products, but just be mindful of that. So if you don't have anything that's extra moisturizing, and you feel that you may need it if you stretch your relaxer, then you may want to leave your conditioner on a little longer. I know that there are people that add olive oil or different oils to their conditioners to make sure that it's extra, they get extra conditioning. You may want to deep condition your hair during this time. Now, I haven't deep conditioned my hair in a long time because I haven't felt the need to do that, even when I stretch my relaxers, because of the products that I use. I feel that they definitely satisfy that whole need of keeping my hair moisturized and conditioned. But you may feel that you need to do that and deep condition. So with that being said, again, moisturize, keep it moisturized, moisture, moisture, moisture. That's one of the key words as far as stretching your relaxer. Low manipulation, and in low manipulation, there may be some, but low manipulation, again, we want to know how we want to comb our hair correctly, brush our hair correctly, and not really fuss over it too much. I know at one particular time, I just wore my hair wrapped up like that entire weekend until I was able to relax it. And that's, I think, because I got to the store late or I couldn't get to whatever was going on. I just left my scarf on. That way I wasn't combing it. I wasn't looking at it. I wasn't, crying and bemoaning the fact that, I had all this new growth and nothing to, couldn't do much with it and everything like that. But low manipulation and moisturization, I would say, are two of the keys of keeping your hair protected and well taken care of while you're stretching and relaxing. And I don't want you to panic. Again, don't panic. We can do it. People have been doing it since the beginning of relaxers. Okay. And again, those who are just used to going to the salon and getting their hair done, scheduled, on time, isn't it? It's okay. You can still do it. You may be waiting until you go back to the salon because you don't trust yourself with relaxing your hair yourself. Totally understand that. You can still do it. Again, ponytails, but you don't want a tight ponytail, okay? You don't want anything pulling your edges, okay, really tight, whether it's around here or around the back or the nape of your neck, okay? You don't want anything too tight and too binding, okay? Make sure you're able to turn your head and smile and frown and do expressions without feeling any tightness around the perimeter, okay? That's very important because a lot of people, they can lose their hair by wearing ponytails, especially around the edges. When you do a ponytail, you want a hairband that you don't want to use rubber bands. Rubber bands can break your hair off. Don't use rubber bands on your hair. You want a hairband, an elastic hairband that is smooth. You want to use hairbands that are seamless, okay? So that your hair does not get caught anywhere in the hairband, okay? I think Goody makes hairbands as well as their generic ones, but you just want something where your hair cannot get caught in any type of seam. You want them to be seamless, okay? And enough stretch, okay? That's what you want. So when you do your ponytail, okay, and you put your hair in your ponytail, not too tight, you want to use a seamless band. And if you do a bun like I do, where I protect my ends and I make it look like a little cinnamon bun, I sort of wrap it around and tuck it under. You want to use bobby pins that still have the rubber ends on it, okay? The little rubber stoppers on the ends. Do not use old bobby pins that don't have these and it just has the metal piece. That will break your hair off. These are here for a reason. The rubber part of the bobby pin is to help the bobby pin to slide through your hair, okay? And not cause any damage or cause minimal damage, okay? So if you're using old bobby pins that have been laying around that grandmama and, auntie have been using, and there are no rubber ends on the ends, it's like dragging a piece of metal, which it is, with rough ends through your hair, which can cut through your hair, which can break your hair off, okay? Use the ones that are still coated, okay? They should still have a coating on them. They should still have the rubber bumpers. I'm going to call them bumpers. You know how we like to make up words around here, bumpers. You want the rubber bumpers on the end, and you want the coating, okay, and the color to still be on the bobby pins, okay? Again, this is to protect your hair. They are there for a reason, okay? So please don't use old bobby pins or hair pins that don't have the rubber bumpers on the ends, okay? We really want to be mindful of that as well, now that I'm thinking about it. And I want to show you how I blow dry my hair. The miracle is in the blow dry, okay? When you're dealing with two different textures and you want minimum damage, okay? But at the same time, you want to keep up your style. If you don't want to do the ponytails, you don't want to do the two cornrows or get your hair braided up or wear a scarf all day. Again, the miracle is in the blow dry. So what I've been styling my hair, I've still been styling my hair as usual. I just take my time. Again, what I do is I use my regular blow dryer, and I am going to show when I do my hair, I had that on my list of things to do. I'm going to show how I blow dry and style my hair. But in the meantime, what I do is I take where there is more growth, okay, all my new growth, and I make sure that I sort of anchor my brush right where that new growth is, okay? So when I sort of anchor it in, and I pull my brush just like this so that the new growth is taut, okay? So it's straight like the old growth, okay? So the new growth is stretched out, literally, by me anchoring my brush, okay, right here by my scalp, and I blow dry that way. And I just hold it still like this, not too tight. I'm not pulling out my hair. You don't want to pull out your hair. You just want to hold it taut. And then I just let that blow dryer blow on it while it's taut and straight. And then I bring the brush through like this. And then I go to a new section, okay? And I just bring the teeth from the brush. Again, I use a rubber brush. This is in one of my previous videos. This is the Denman brush, okay, that I use, okay? Rubber brush. Goody makes one. They make generic ones. It's not a big deal, but I use my rubber brush when I blow dry my hair, and I sort of anchor it, okay, to all the new growth, and I put the teeth in, pull it down, hold it taut, and I blow dry, and that makes it, and I use a blow dryer on heat, okay? I don't use it on cold, so I put it on the normal heat, and that makes it a lot straighter, okay? I don't have a super duper hot blow dryer, therefore it's not super straight, but it's straight enough for me not to have to worry about severe differences, such a disparity in textures, okay? So it's a lot straighter. And then when I go to flat iron it, of course, I bring it up close to here and as close as I can get it. And then I pull it on through, and my hair, and then wrapping it at night, that relaxes it as well. And then by the daytime, I'm okay. And I'm on day 4. And so I don't think you can see it, but my little crinkles have relaxed a lot. And like I said, I need to relax my hair in about a week or so. So I'm doing okay, okay? So that's basically how I grapple with stretching a relaxer, or if I get extra crazy growth for some reason by week 4, and it's just, oh my gosh, I have to manage all this new growth. That's what I do. In the past, I've done ponytails, and now that I'm just a little greedy right now. I want to see my progress. I want to see my progress. I want to see my hair come back in, and I don't want to miss a moment. Okay, so even during me stretching my relaxer, or just going through the regular, my regular scheduled relaxer of waiting or scheduling of my relaxer, which is about 7 weeks, I try not to put in any ponytails or wrap it up or this and that, do anything extra. I try not to put in any ponytails. I basically style it every week. And when it gets a little more concerning as far as the new growth, I just blow dry in that way. So I'm hoping that this helps. I wanted to share just a couple things. Again, I know a lot of that isn't new to you guys, but I just felt like talking about it and just coming in here really quickly and just, chewing the fat and sharing a couple of tips, old tips, and maybe a couple new tips, and maybe not so new tips. But that's okay. Plus, we like talking about hair around here, don't we? We kind of like chit-chatting about hair. That's what we're here for. We're here for the hair. Hey, we're here for the hair. Hair. So anyway, we did come in. We were in and out, okay? I appreciate everyone checking me out. I appreciate all the love. I really, really do. And I'll be back. I'm hoping that the relaxer comes on time so I can do my major trim. Got to trim it up. Got to keep all that together. So it should be coming. I need to order it. I'm going to order it. I went to order it and they said that there was a backup due to all this, everything that's going on. So I'm hoping that it comes in a good enough time. So with that being said, we were in and out. Thank you so much for checking me out. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, just let me know below. But other than that, I will be seeing you again. Same Dolce dial, same Dolce channel, okay? That moisture. Low manipulation.